Sup people, welcome back to another Hobby Wolf Let's Paint. Today we're going to be painting up the Necron objective markers in this objective marker set from 40k. These two objective markers I'm going to paint up to reflect the rest of my Necron army in this Zarrican Dynasty theme, just like the Scorpic Destroyer you can see there. And this one I'm going to be trying to copy the box art. So for the two objective markers that look like Necron artifacts, we're going to give them a couple of coats with my airbrush of Runelord Brass. At this stage I also gave the Necron Warrior a couple of coats with the Runelord Brass, and just a soft coat on the rest of the objective marker. To distinguish this objective marker, I'm hitting the body of it with some Iron Breaker to make it more grey metallic as opposed to brass. So before I get any washes on, I'm going to be hitting the brass parts of these objective markers with Canoptic Alloy, just a dry brush with some old brushes. Alright, we're going to start applying some washes now. First up, I'm using 2 parts Lamia Medium to 1 part Cryptic Armor Shade to get a nice Zarrican Dynasty brassy wash on this objective marker here. For the Necron shard, we're going to be using a 1-to-1 mixture of Basilicanum Grey and Contrast Medium. 2 thin coats should do it. Our base colour for our third and final objective is going to be Black Templar contrast paint. 2 to 3 thin coats for this one, as on the box art. It's pretty decently dark. So that's how he's looking after the Black Templar. While the Black Templar was out, I painted up the center point of the shard objective marker. These broken protruding pieces on the shard were also painted up with Black Templar, as well as the Gauss charges, or whatever they are, on the side of this artifact. Next up, I got the Basilicanum Grey again and painted up the center point of that artifact. And the metallic side bits. So, in preparation for our Gauss glow, we're going to be putting down some white with the airbrush. If you don't have an airbrush, you could easily use a dry brushing technique to get a similar effect. So you can see here, it's already looking real nice. All we need to do is put over some Tesseract glow, and it's going to be popping. So I'm also putting some white down on the electrical prism on the third objective marker. We're going to be going over that with some athematic blue later. Of course the shard has some Gauss glow as well, so I'm giving that the same treatment with the airbrush. Next, a bit of Mephiston Red for some hand brushing. We're going to be painting up the generators on the side of this objective marker. And with some Cryptic Armor Shade, we're going to be hitting the brass part, including the Necron Warrior. Of course, it wouldn't be a Zarrican Dynasty Necron Warrior without a black carapace, so whip out that Black Templar again and slap down a couple of thin coats. Don't forget the joins at the arms too. Now to brighten up all our edges, I'm whipping out the Stormhost Silver, and yeah, edge highlighting the shard and the center point of the, let's call it the Necron artifact. And I thought, you know what, while it's out, let's hit all the bolts on this objective marker here. Diverging from the box art a little bit, I'm going to be painting the tubing green, Caliban up to warpstone. Now the best part, in my opinion, we're going to be slapping down the Tesseract glow onto that white we prepared earlier, and just look at it pop. Of course, give the lights and the scarabs the same treatment on the shard. Sweet, now we can have a break from painting and do some basing. This is my homemade basing mixture. Way better than the stuff you get at the shops, trust me. Ask me in the comments and I'll tell you how I make it. Right, now that that's all dried up, we're going to be bluing out this guy's electrical field with some athematic blue and contrast medium, about a 1-to-1 mixture.
And I love it. We used to eat watermelon a lot.
Once that was dry, I just hit the edges with a bit of white. While I was at it, I added some white lines to the tubing. Later on, we're going to be hitting this with some Tesseract glow.
And I'ma change this city into a new city.
The generators were looking a bit dull at this point, so to give them a bit of depth, I added some caribou crimson shading and a little bit of Evil Sun Scarlet highlighting. Now to give our Gauss glow a little bit more depth, we're going to be putting in some BL Tan green, and this really makes it pop. Now for this basing scheme, I'm dry brushing up from Storm Vermin Fur to Dawnstone to Celestia Grey, just with some old brushes. And it should look like this by the end of it. Still not 100% stoked with this objective marker, I decided to whip out the Stormhost Silver again and give it a whole lot of chipping effects. And this was a good decision, it really made it stand out. Now for final touches, we're putting down some Celestia Grey onto the smaller stones just to make them pop out a bit more. And of course, painting up all the scarabs on each base. All there was left to do was black rim the base and put down some tufts. And we done. And I'm stoked. They look sick. Tell me what you reckon in the comments below. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching and catch you in the next video. Laters.